Morning, guys. Welcome back to day 7 of our online lessons. We're going to go ahead and continue right where we left off yesterday. Go ahead and open up the assignment of day 6. It's the outline or the template for your invoice. What we're gonna do today is fill it out with products and then calculate the subtotals for each product, and then finally calculate the overall total for the entire invoice. So first thing we want to do is remove any sheets that aren't being used. Right click on the template. We're gonna go ahead and move or copy. In this case, we're gonna create a copy. When you right click and select move or copy, this is the box you'll see. Click on the checkbox that says create a copy. Click OK. Now we have an invoice template 2. What we're gonna do with this is right click again on the sheet, and we're gonna rename this, and we're gonna call it invoice 1. It's no longer a template in this case. It's actually going to be used to enter items for our company, best company ever. So just to build on the last example from the textbook, let's go ahead and sell some stationery. So go ahead and we're gonna put 4. We're gonna put pens. What is the type of package? Let's say box. How much does one package of pens cost? Say about $15. Remember last week we did one of the classes, we talked about cell value types. This would be a good section to apply a value type on the column. So why don't we go ahead and do that? Select the entire column for price, and let's right click, format cells, and let's select currency. Alright, we're going to select currency from this table here and click OK. And now it changes our 15 into our $15 with the dollar sign and 2 decimal places. Note again in the formula bar up here, my 15 doesn't changes. I've typed in 15, it's still 15. It's just that with the cell type being currency, it applies the style on the 15 for me. So let's keep going ahead. We got pens, might as well get pencils, and pencils are cheaper than pens, so let's go $7. So type in 7. About 10 folder sheets. Again, folder sheets come in boxes. Folder sheets are fairly cheap. In terms of a box, I would say maybe like $20 because a lot of folder sheets come in one box. Continuing with stationery, go ahead and get 10 typing sheets. This one will be boxes again. Let's put this for $20 as well. Let's go with 3 boxes of staples. Not staples, staples. These come in boxes as well. I mean, for the most part, for stationery, they would be coming in boxes, right? Some examples of products that might not come in boxes would be, for example, foods like rice, flour. Those would come in sacks, and then that would depend on the pound, right? So just for example's sake, if I were to put 10, and let's put flour, the packaging in that case might be SAC, or in some cases they might even put LBS to represent pounds, because LB is the abbreviation for pound, right? Well, that's just an example, but since we're sticking with stationery, we're not gonna really need to consider anything other than boxes, really, right? Because I think all stationery, at least for the most part, come in boxes. I think I could put here 10, and I could put rubber bands, and in this one, just to have a little different, we're gonna put bags, because rubber bands do come in bags, right? So this is gonna be 35. Alright, so let's just stick with these: pens, pencils, folder sheets, typing sheets, staples, and rubber bands. We notice it's 2 writing material, 2 paper material, and 2 binding material. Staples bind papers together, rubber bands bind things together as well. So how do you go ahead and get this subtotal? Well, remember what we said with our definitions. For our formulas, we have to put the equal sign. The equal sign is a point, or is a sign that tells Excel that, okay, the next thing I type out, I want you to calculate for me. Alright, so the equal sign is very important. And if you notice, the first formula that pops up here is sum. You can select different formulas, but for this case, we're gonna go ahead and manually do the sum. Remember what I told you guys, using the 4 different operations: the plus sign, the minus or the dash sign, the star or the asterisk sign, and then the slash sign, to perform the different calculations manually. So for today, we're pretty much gonna be using the star to multiply. What we need to multiply is A7, and if you notice in my formula bar, when I click one of the cells, it brings up the address for me. So you guys can do the same thing. I'm not sure if Excel does the same thing, but what you can do is just type in the reference or the address for the cell, and then we're gonna do stars, which is shift and 8 on the keyboard, and then we're gonna go and click price, and then when I press enter, it goes ahead and enters the calculation for me, which is $60, and it does not enter this A7 times D7. Why? Because of the equal sign. Excel knows to calculate 4, because A7 has the value 4, and then times 15, because D7 has the value 15. Alright, so be careful when you're clicking cells in the formula bar, because it goes and tries to select those cells. So you can always undo or just backspace and delete those references. Alright, if you want to come out, just press enter when you're in this formula bar. So we're gonna go ahead and apply the same formula for all our cells here. And one good practice is you could go ahead and apply this on all the remaining cells, even the empty ones, because when you do enter a value or an item here, it's gonna automatically calculate the total for you. You can also copy and paste these formulas that you've created. So go ahead, right click, copy, click on the next cell, right click, paste, and if you notice, it does the work for you, and it doesn't go and paste A7 times D7. Excel is useful and intuitive, I guess you could say, or very user friendly, that when you copy the formula from one cell and you apply it to the next, it tries and apply the cell addresses accordingly. So if you're going to copy from one cell up, Excel tries to detect that for the user, and when you paste the formula, it will apply the address of one cell down, because you're also copying one cell down. So Excel is very useful in that regard, in that you don't have to retype the formulas, and when you do copy and paste, it auto updates the rows and column addresses for you. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Copy, paste, and notice it's now A9 times D9. And if I do the same pasting, I'm going to go ahead and repaste this. Like I said, you have to be careful when you're selecting cells while in a formula bar, because it's going to try and select the address of the cell. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to apply it to the entire column. And notice it shows $0 for these empty ones, and that's because there's nothing there. In some cases you would want to leave it, but in some cases you might not, because in this case I can go ahead and just add a new item, such as what else? 5 scissors. Scissors come in boxes. I wouldn't think they come in bags, because if they came in bags, then I'm pretty sure it would tear the bag. So when you go ahead and add in your quantity and price for this, notice this automatically changes to calculate those values now that it's no longer 0, right? So you can leave these, but in a lot of business scenarios you really don't see these zeros being shown, so let's delete that for now. But I just wanted to show you guys that example. Alright, so another thing to notice, I think when I copied some of the cells, the borders got copied as well. So what we're gonna do here is format the borders for that once again, just to fix it up. Alright, and then this last one needs the border at the bottom. Alright, so those are our lines. Again, I'm going to remove this. I just noticed that we didn't have borders in the middle. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and finish putting the border for the total. So now for this last part, we need to go ahead and put a little border just to highlight that the total is found here, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna merge cells D21 and D22 just to give total a bigger space to use, just to show that, okay, this is important, that's why it uses up so much space. Alright, so go out to alignment after we right click on format cells, click merge cells, and you can might as well just put the border there already, so you can go ahead and apply the border already. Notice I only put it on the left and bottom corner, because I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing here and merge cell to put the value of total. I'm gonna go ahead and put the borders on the right and bottom. So now we have something that looks like this, and in this cell again we put equals, and I'm going to go and manually add these cells. Okay, plus, click on this one, plus, click on this one, plus, click on this one, plus, plus, plus. And same thing applies. You could have went ahead and added the rest of the lines even though they don't have a value yet. And what this does is when you do add in values, it's going to go ahead and add the entire column for you, so you don't have to edit this formula anymore afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and click enter, and the total is 1033 when we add up all of these here. Is that correct? Well, while we want to believe that it is correct, doesn't hurt to go and confirm, right? So 60 plus 28 plus 200 plus 200 plus 350 plus 150, it's 1033. So just to confirm, right? So this is our invoice completed with some items found inside. I want you guys to do the same thing for your assignment. Fill in this table. You can use the same information or you can make up your own. Make sure here you put the values for the formula is equals the quantity cell address times the price cell address for that row. So if you're on row 7, make sure you're using the quantity from row 7 times the price on row 7. Alright, if you have any questions or doubts with doing the formula, just rewind the video. I showed it clearly just now, so please watch the video again, at least just to rewind if you didn't understand the portion to add the formula. It's just an equal sign, and then you click on the cell, and then you put in the sign, which is shift 8 to multiply, or times in this case, and then you click on the second cell to multiply. After you do that, you can go ahead and copy from that row, then paste it onto the rest of the cells, and then finally you go ahead and put the equal signs in the total, and then do the same thing. Click on one cell, then plus afterwards, then this, then this, then this, and then it should bring up the cells for you here. Notice it should highlight the cells when it's selected. Make sure to go ahead and merge the top and bottom cells for the total, and the same for the value, top and bottom. So you're merging two cells for total and the value of what the total would be. Make sure you go ahead and put a border, a thick one, around total, but not in the middle, notice, and that would be your total. So let's go ahead and see how it looks when we print. So this is how our receipt would look. All items, packages, price, the subtotal, meaning how much does one item cost based on how much we ordered. So 4 pens, boxes of pens at $15 is $60, and then this is our final total, which is everything added up together. Alright, so please do this for assignment day 7 as usual. Watch the video, which you are now, but rewatch it if you have any doubts or some parts you didn't understand. The more you watch the video, the more you understand, the more you learn. Alright, thanks. Have a good morning, and we'll continue tomorrow. Alright.